of all, let me tell you an excuse. So, this episode is not created for encouraging to commit crimes, for example. So what I'm going this is an excuse anyway. But actually, so what I'm going to talk about is, of course, if you have already seen the not title, but the description column of this episode, and if you have already read the conclusion of this episode, so you may think that so well I'm going to encourage, or I'm going to recommend committing crimes, for example, because prostitution is at least in my country, not but actually, so at least in my country. So prostitution is illegal, or prostitution is a criminal, but actually, so many countries, or many advanced or many developed countries have decriminalized prostitution. So which is why, so for example, this is just a picture, or this is just a fabrication. This is of course just my fabrication, but actually, so for example, in a hypothetical situation, if you become a prostitute in, for example, in an advanced country where prostitution is legal, and if you follow the guideline of that country, for example, not for example, or if you follow the regulation of that region, you work as a prostitute, or if you do some kind of acts, so if you do some kind of acts, for example, as a prostitute, or as a business of prostitution, so, and you, of course, you need to follow the rules, or if you need to follow the laws of that country, or of the region you do the business of prostitution anyway. So, but actually, so I don't recommend. So this episode is not created for. Episode is not created for for encourage people to commit crimes. So this episode is not created for recommending that people become prostitutes and people commit crimes at once or all together. I'm not a criminal to start with. So, and I don't have any intention, or I don't have any will about suggesting people to, or soliciting people to commit crimes, for example. I don't have such an intention. I don't recommend any acts or any actions like committing crimes, or including committing prostitution as crimes. Anyway, so which means, so if you live in a country, and if you live in a country where prostitution is illegal, or if you live in some countries where prostitutions are criminal, not criminals, prostitutions are crimes. So I don't think it's smart for you to do, or to work as prostitutes, or to do some businesses of prostitutions. Anyway, so hello everybody, I'm Richard Gong of Work to Live podcast version. So 大家好，我姓龚，叫龚理查。这会，这次简单一下。对，这次的话题，对不起。这次的 title 是用日语性行为是圣行为，用汉语性行为不是圣行为。And I have spoken Chinese language, but actually, so, and I didn't know how to say title in Chinese language, but actually, if they are the same words as, if there is the same word as my mother tongue, that has to be party, for example, such a word is usable. Well, it's possible to use that word for the word meaning title anyway. So by the way, in my mother tongue, that is so title is said whether is a subject of conversation, for example, in the case of my mother tongue, well, dai is suitable word. So pronouncing that in Chinese language, T is or chu T or anyway, subject or such words in Chinese language is good for calling title in Chinese language. Anyway, I'm sorry for my clumsy manner of using Chinese language, but to start with, I'm not using English correctly because I'm a non-native speaker of English language. And conclusion. Let me tell you the conclusion of this episode. So the conclusion is everybody is happy, which is good, which is why prostitution is good in general. So this is of course this is my perspective, but actually I think this is true in every part of the world. So what I'd like you to know this time is that it's really easy actually. So prostitution is good, and prostitution is good, or prostitution is, how should I say, prostitution makes people happier, which is what I'd like you to know, and which is why prostitution so how should I say, explanation is really difficult for in the case of the business of prostitutions, but actually, natural thinking, and so if businesses of prostitutions are decently managed, so they become flourished, or they naturally thinking that prostitutions flourish, which is natural, and which is a good stuff, or which make people happier, or which makes human societies better, which is what such a thing is what I'd like you to know, and such a thing is what I'm saying. And my mother, of course, my mother tongue has a saying, or has a proverb, which is sampo yoshi, or three directions, or three aspects are good. Such as there is such a word, and sampo yoshi means such a thing like the literal meaning of sampo yoshi means three directions are good, or three aspects are good, or three sides are good. So such a thing is that Japanese proverb has such a meaning anyway. So three sides are fine. So, and if you're business owners, for example, this is just an example, but actually, so applying the meaning of sampo yoshi, or that Japanese saying into your business, for example, and if you're entrepreneurs, or if you're managers of a business, for example, and if you are fine, and you are fine, and other you are fine, and the clients are fine, and people around you and those clients are fine, which is why those three parties are fine. So which is why the business, if the business is fine in those three aspects I have told you, so the businesses are going to flourish, or the businesses are going to prosper. Which is the meaning of that Japanese proverb, or Japanese saying sampo yoshi. Anyway, so which is why prostitution is such a business, which is what I'm telling you. So of course, so people say, for example, violence is involved under which women are victimized, and so in the case of the law of my country, and so there's I forgot how to say to start with, I don't know how to say the name of that law in English language, and so or maybe as long as I can remember, that the name of that law is Baishinbochiho, and translating that word into English language, so the act of preventing prostitutions, which is the literal meaning of that law. Anyway, what I say, so why that law was created is, So so the act is required to to make the psychological or to make the social atmosphere better. So to clean up such a social models, to clean up such a psychological or social atmosphere, people can intuitively understand. So prostitutions are against prostitutions are bad, and moreover, in the case of the business of prostitutions, and so in such a case, women are victimized. So if women are exploited, which is why prostitution is bad. So which is why prostitution have to be prohibited or banned. So which is why that act or that law was created. But actually, exploiting happens in every business. So of course, it is bad to exploit employees, for example. But actually, such an act of exploiting, or such an act of having how should I say, having recourse to employees, or abusing employees, or so unjustly using employees, unjustly using employees or workers may happen in every industry, in every business. Although they are different from prostitutions, well, they may be, of course, for example, so if you work for an internet company, any type of company is fine. Or if you work for a restaurant, that is fine. But actually, so exploiting, or wait a moment, please. I forgot the noun term for that word. Anyway, but actually, so what I'd like you to know is that, such a thing happens, doesn't it? Exploiting, or, just exploit, or, yeah, just exploit happen in every business. So, if you work for a restaurant, so, exploit, you may be exploited someday. Such a thing happens. Such a thing may happen in the future. For example, of course, restaurant is different from prostitution. Or how should I say? I thought brothel. Restaurant is not brothel. In general meanings. But actually, so such an act of not prostitution, but exploiting. Such acts of exploiting may happen in every society, or in every business. So thinking about which, prohibiting managers to exploit, or prohibiting managers, or prohibiting people from exploiting other people or employees, it's not sufficient as a reason to create the law prohibiting prostitutions. I'm sorry for my clumsy manner of using English language, but actually, so exploiting happens, exploiting possibly happens in every business. So which is why, specifying exploiting women, or exploiting employees for creating laws prohibiting prostitutions is not sufficient. Such a thing is what I'm saying. I'm sorry whether I could tell. I don't know whether I could tell you, the how should I say? I don't know whether I could tell you the sufficient stuff for explaining that exploiting may happen in every society, which is why exploiting is not sufficient for creating acts was laws to prevent prostitution, because so if you try to prevent exploiting to start with, so you need other general types of regulations or other general types of laws, so which is what I like, which is why, so anyway, so anyway, so not roughly saying, but actually, so such a thing is the foundation for my saying that so prostitution is good. Prostitution is not bad. Moreover, so in the case of lay people or lay women without any sufficient skills, for example, they have their own wombs or their own vaginas or their own sexual techniques for earning money. There are some women without sufficient skills because of the lacks of, or because of the scarcity of education, for example, but actually, so prostitution, so it's possible to say that prostitution give such women or such ladies or such poor girls opportunities or chances to succeed. It's possible to say so. At least prostitution give poor women chances or opportunities to earn money or to make money. So which is why, so maybe you can, I think you can understand, because if you are frequent listeners of my podcast, I think you have already understood. So the rationality or the good of prostitutions. So which means, by using prostitutions or by becoming prostitutes, women can make money. Most cases, most prostitutes are women, and there are some male prostitutes. But actually, anyway, not roughly saying, but actually, so prostitution. And anyway, prostitution is essentially a good business. But actually, so what makes prostitution bad or wrongdoings is that, so there are some crazy guys, or there are some malicious guys or criminals who use prostitutions in bad manners or in wrong ways as a human society anyway. So which is why, so because of those criminals, prostitutions are categorized into wrongdoings. But actually, prostitution itself is a good business, which is what I'd like you to know this time, and which is what I'd like to tell you this time. So it's over, and at last, let me tell you the meaning of the title of this episode. This is just a crap, actually. Crap. You don't have to remember the meaning of this title. And 用日语性行为是圣行为 which means, so using Japanese language, sexual act or sexual act is holy act, and the other sentence is 用汉语性行为不是圣行为. So using Chinese language, sexual act is not holy act. So the meaning is that, so in the case of Japanese language, so sexual act is seikoi in the pronunciation of Japanese language, and holy act is also pronounced seikoi. And so sex and holy has the same pronunciation. And of course, it's possible to translate the meaning of holy into Japanese language as the pronunciation of shinsei. For example, shinsei is the shinsei of Holy Roman Empire. There is such an empire, isn't there? But actually, in the case of Chinese language, so sexual act is 性行为, but actually, so holy act is 圣行为, and pronunciations are different in the case of Chinese language, but in the case of Japanese language, they have the same pronunciations. But actually, so people do not use holy act in daily conversations, and so if Japanese people use use the Japanese word meaning holy act, they would say 神聖な行為 for example, 神聖な行為. Yeah, so maybe nobody says 性行為 for meaning holy act or holy acts. But actually, maybe ordinary Japanese people would use 神聖な行為 for the meaning of holy acts. So this is just a joke anyway. So, and the conclusion is, let me tell you the conclusion of this episode. And the conclusion is, everybody is happy, which is good, which is why prostitution is good in general. So, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for everything. See you and 再见. By the way, so Chinese words for title are party or duty. So duty is a subject in the case of emails, and you write subjects in the columns of subjects when writing emails, and duty is used for the meaning of subject. So if you write Chinese emails, you write subject in the column of duty or in the column of subject in Chinese language.